It's finally happening. The Texans could go on a run in this year's playoffs. I've been saying it all season. It's not about what defines you in the regular season, but only when you get hot at the right time in the postseason. The Texans absolutely obliterated the Chargers. 32-12, 4-interception day for Justin Herbert. And man, oh man, have I been hyping this defense up all year. That's actually not true. I've actually kind of hated on them. And then at midway through the year, I was like, okay, this team's pretty good. Because I was so hesitant on the secondary help. And man, Derek Stingley, all pro. Cameron Bullock, huge addition. Kamari Lassiter, 2 rookies, outstanding. And without Jalen Pitre, without Jimmy Ward, this defense, Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter up front, DeMeco Autry, the veteran, Henry To'oTo'o, Azeez Al-Shaair, Christian, everybody played phenomenal on the defense. Now, the surprising thing, the offense. Nico Collins, CJ Stroud, everyone was doubting them all season long. And not to mention, everyone closed their eyes and picked the Chargers in this game. Why? I have no idea. These two teams were so evenly matched. And I understand the importance of saying, hey, okay, this team has been bad on offense. The sophomore slump is real. But Stroud came to play. And one of the biggest turning points in this game was when Stroud fumbled on 3rd and 16. And I thought he was just going to fall on it, but he ended up rolling out to his right, finding a wide open Xavier Hutchinson on a busted coverage. Unbelievable play. And it switched the entire momentum of the game. That ended a 98-yard scoring drive to Nico Collins. Texans ended the first half 10-6. But before that play, all hell broke loose. It was bad because CJ Stroud was playing bad. I don't know if it was nervous playoff jitters or what, but man, he couldn't find anybody in the atmosphere, the stratosphere. He threw the ball to so many Charger-like players. I was scared for my life as a Texans fan watching that first half. The amount of times he threw the ball to a white, yellow jersey, I swear I thought he underthrew or overthrew some receivers. I was like, what is he doing? And then the Herbert pick, Stroud threw a pick, Herbert threw a pick. It was a bunch of just chaos. But a win is nonetheless here. So huge win for the Texans, and we have to talk about it because it's only inevitable. But the Chiefs are most likely going to be the Texans' next opponent. And I don't want any hate on the Texans. Don't close your eyes again, because this can very well be a close game. Not to mention the Chiefs are off 25 days of rest. Bobby Slowick did not call the best game. He hasn't called the best season, to be honest. But the Texans need their offense to step up. And that was the biggest thing. Nico Collins goes over 100 yards and a touchdown. The run game is finally back with Joe Mixon. He had a touchdown. It was just one thing after another fell into place. And the only thing I'm worried about is if the Texans have a slow start like they did against the Chargers, against the Chiefs, that will not end well. If you get behind the Patrick Mahomes, Steve Spagnuolo is going to send the blitz eventually, and that's not going to end well. The only reason I'm so confident is because of the last time we played the Chiefs. Now, looking at kind of how this matchup's going to face off, and the defenses, the momentum with their team is carrying into the divisional round. And when you have so much momentum as a wild card team heading into the divisional round with a team that has 25 days of rest, that is huge. And Stroud's got a chip on his shoulder after the last time they played them when Tank Dell went down, and that's his best friend. And you saw how he was emotional when he went down the last time they played. So 8-point gain the last time they played the Chiefs. They shut down in the second half because of what happened to Dell. And man, it's just a story to be told for these Houston Texans this season. I really do believe a Super Bowl could be inbound. As crazy as that sounds, this defense is what makes this team. And I've been kind of iffy on the defense. I've been back and forth on it because they gave up a lot of pass yards, but the turnovers were huge. And to pick off Justin Herbert, a quarterback who threw 3 interceptions all year long, to throw 4 in one game is huge. He was trying to throw all these lasers, and the Texans were just right on it all game, and that was incredible to watch. The first half, again, I was losing it. The first drive of the game, John Mechie fumbled the ball, and I was like this. I was like, oh my goodness. I couldn't believe it. And then the first drive of the third quarter, Joe Mixon fumbled. So it's like, if you have those silly mistakes in the divisional round, that is the reason why the Texans nobody picked them against the Chargers. Everyone's like, something's going to happen like that. But they're not a bad team. They might have a mid-offense. They might have a sophomore slump. But again, you can go to past videos. I've been saying it all year. The playoffs is what counts. And if this team gets hot at the right time, do not sleep on them to beat the Chiefs and then beat the Bills or Ravens. If they play the Bills in the AFC Championship, a team they already beat this season, I like my odds. I'm just saying. And if the Texans can top it off with a Super Bowl win, first ever, that would be an unbelievable feat off of a quarterback who played a very bad sophomore campaign. And not to mention, you look at past year quarterbacks, Brock Purdy, Joe Burrow, Tom Brady, Big Ben, Russell Wilson. All these guys are second-year quarterbacks that have gone to Super Bowls. Now, would I like to see my boy Stroud win one? Of course. But, I can't help but the two names that I mentioned, and Purdy and Burrow, those guys, unfortunately, didn't get so lucky. But I'm very big on the fact that this is a team that is playing so dominantly on defense. And when you have a top 5 caliber defense, that is what's going to help propel this team to victory. I don't know what else to say here, really, because with the injuries that we've had to the secondary this year with Pitre and Ward, I really didn't expect the team to do well. I always thought that it was a possibility they can wake up in the playoffs, but they had a different breed against the Chargers. I know it's only the Chargers, so I don't want to get ahead of myself. And I also don't want to discredit the Chargers for what they've done this year. I say it's only the Chargers, but they've had a good season. John Harbaugh, first year with the Chargers, he's done well. Don't get me wrong. But if this defense plays this well and limits the damage against Patrick Mahomes, all the offense has to do is put up 21, 24 points, kick a couple field goals. And this is the thing. And I'll go back to why I'm so worried. I'm confident, but I'm worried. The confidence is if this offense can keep it consistent, there's no reason the defense can't hold up. But if the offense struggles, and they've had times in the second half this year where they could not punch it in the end zone, and it's been bad history to where all of a sudden, against the Lions, you put up 20 points, and then here comes Detroit. So you don't want to have a game like that where you're having such an incredible first half, and then Stroud breaks down. I'm not going to jinx it. I'm trying not to. But Texans fans, let me know how you're feeling because Nico Collins came to play. John Mechie and Xavier Hutchinson look to be in rhythm with C.J. Stroud. Deontay Johnson is getting in the mix. Cade Stover was in a great addition to Dalton Schultz. So those two guys are pairing really well. And the biggest thing to take away for me is that Stroud, he played rusty in the first 2 drives, and then he threw that pick. After the pick, and then obviously this play, that was the biggest factor in the game. But outside of the throws to the other team, that he probably should have had 2 interceptions, that's the only thing where I'm like, okay, if they slow down in the second half or if they lose momentum, if they could just play consistent football. And Bobby Slowick, I'll say my thoughts on him in the next video and actually kind of rip him because I don't think he's done a great job this year. And I'd love to have him go get a head coaching job for the Bears because I don't actually know if he's going to be that great. And Slowick, man, this is the reason the Texans will be held back is because of dumb play calls on bootlegs and just trying to push the ball downfield when all you have to do is keep the ball on the ground. The Texans ran a lot, but there's been times in the past where they push the ball downfield up in games, and I question it. Now in the playoffs, maybe there's a little bit of a conservative factor. So definitely interesting to see how Slowick and the rest of that team is going to go after things. But I actually didn't even mention the special teams with the blocked extra point. That was incredible as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts. Can the Texans beat the Chiefs? It's not the Chiefs yet, but it's most likely going to be after the Bills beat the Broncos today. You never know. Maybe Bo Nix balls out, but I do not want to play the Ravens. I'm going to assume it's Kansas City. But regardless, we're going to jump on a video and talk about a preview for whoever the Texans play because there's a potential they can go on a run to the Super Bowl. So stay tuned. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.